All right, guys, welcome back to the next installment of Path of Adventure Hard Level 2, both free to play and the teams that I particularly use. Today, we're talking about the Forgotten Earth Shrine, or the Rhodes boss. And this is where you get your Guard and Fatal runes, which Guard runes are very good on a lot of your defense scaling monsters, one of my favorites being Tayor. Fatal runes are actually pretty good. There's a lot of monsters that obviously scale off of attack, but there's also some healers that scale off of attack as well, so that might be something to look into. Perhaps some HP percent fatal runes on those healers? Think about it. All right, so obviously along with some of the other rewards that you get here, the most important are runes, 6-star runes. So just to recap, all of these monsters and these teams that I'm going to give you should for the most part work on every summoner. Typically, Cleaf has the hardest with Path of Adventure and all these rune dungeons, and all these dungeons in particular. So if you're an Orbi or a Kina, you probably will have an even easier time with these particular dungeons. This is mostly out there for my Cleaf mains out there. We know the struggle. This may not necessarily work for you. My summoner is relatively high. We're at about 186,000 power now. So it may not necessarily work for you if your summoner isn't quite there, but it should do you pretty well. And lastly, I need y'all to stop making fun of the amount of tickets that I have. I'm trying. Takes a lot of time. All right, so this first one is going to be our free-to-play team. We've got Shushu, we've got Rigel, and we've got Ellen, which is a free-to-play monster you get from the main story. Now, the only one that's kind of not free-to-play, I guess, would be Rigel, since he is a 4-star. I'm hoping that you guys get him relatively quickly in all of your summons. He is the absolutely best monster for this dungeon for several reasons, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. Ellen is just a great water damage dealer, and last up we have the one and only Shushu. I bring Shushu into almost everything because Shushu's immunity and heals together in a single skill bring everything that I need for all of these dungeons. So let's get into the run. I'm bringing Water Staff mostly for the bonus because I want to get the bonus using Water Staff, but also Water Staff puts out a lot of debuffs, one in particular being Attack Break, which is really nice for this boss. So as you can see, Cleaf is landing that Attack Break. You saw that the boss had Attack Up and it had Defense Up like it does right now. But what's going to happen is Rigel there is going to use his skills to remove that attack up and that defense up and replace it with the defense down. Rigel also has mechanics built into his kit that whenever he lands these kind of things or whenever he does his skills, it refreshes that first skill there. So he is constantly putting out this skill, constantly swapping out that attack up and that defense up. And as you can see, this was a relatively quick run with about 50 seconds. Shushu, Rigel, and Ellen in this case. All right, so a monster that some of you might think about bringing would be Lulu here, which is a water monster, which is going to help you with the bonus, get the bonus. I don't have runes on this Lulu, but they also do some similar things with, cleansing and healing. The reason I don't like Lulu is that Lulu doesn't provide immunity. And one of the big things that I would normally fail at with this boss is the stuns. So this boss actually particularly does a lot of stuns in their kit. So when you get stunned, that is time that you're not swapping out the attack up and the defense up. And that is also time that your Shushu or your Lulu is not healing you. So very often I would fail because of those stuns that are put out by the boss, which is why I always go with Shushu in this spot, and I keep the Shushu soul linked and I turn off their skill 1. All right, so I'm going to run through another team real quick, and this one's going to be more of my typical team that's a little bit faster that I like to run, and it's really nice. So we're going to go with this one. We've got Bastet, we've got Rigel, of course, the bad boy himself, and then Theomar's over here. I need to put his runes back on because I gave them to Ellen for a moment. And we're going to hop in here. Power level obviously significantly higher with well-built 5 stars. Now, as you notice, this one doesn't even have a healer. But for the most part, we are able to kill this boss quick enough with the attack up and the shields that we're able to defeat the boss quick enough in order to make this happen. So as you can see, the stuns really made it kind of an issue for a second there because there was so much downtime. And then the knockbacks, of course, they create a lot of downtime. But as long as Rigel is putting down his skills, swapping out that attack buff and that defense buff, then you should be able to still get this no problem. As you can see with the shields, even though the boss is landing his attacks, he's still not able to penetrate through those Bastet shields. And that's not a particularly well-built Bastet either. Now, so this one is pretty much flawless for me. You know, even if it does fail once, then it's just going to, you know, repeat itself and go right into the next one. And so I've been able to do 30, 40, 50 runs of this no problem. If you wanted to go a little bit safer, something I would suggest is switching out the Bastet, of course, for the Shushu, and we have a significantly safer team, and we'll go for that right now. And you'll see with this team, the stuns will never have an issue because we always have immunity up from Shushu. Again, we make sure that the Soul Link skill 1 is turned off. While it is good for healing, we want both the healing and immunity from their skill 2. So as you can see here, the monsters do take a little bit more damage here and there, but Shushu over here is going to heal that up really quickly, and we're not going to have a problem. Now, I'm able to do this one because my monsters are a little bit tankier than some of the monsters you guys might have. So if you wanted to have like the safest team, I would go Shushu, Bastet, and Theomars. So honestly, the free-to-play team was faster than this one. All right, guys. So again, that is my typical team. Basically, the idea is Shushu, Rigel, and then, you know, damage dealer of choice, water damage dealer of choice. You could bring in a monster like Chiwu that would strip and add beneficial effect blocker. You could swap in the Bastet here for a little bit safer run. People even bring Tayor. I'll show you guys the statistics right here. So here's what most people are bringing. Rigel, of course, is number 1, 30%. Bastet is also extremely popular. Honestly, Rigel, Bastet is very strong together. Rigel puts out most of the damage anyway, and he's the one that's really making all this happen. Tayor also puts out a decent amount of damage. Of course, the Narin Ha for my Europe or my global family, you guys won't have Narin Ha. I don't even have Narin Ha, but she is very good for this dungeon as well. And then, of course, you got Theomars, Shushu, and a couple other options down here as well. But just so you guys can see that the records are almost always with Narin Ha, Rigel, and then some form of defense break and attack up. So as you can see, all the records here. All right, guys, I hope that helped you get a little bit better understanding of the Forgotten Earth Shrine boss and how to beat it level 2 hard and start farming those level 6 runes. I know that global server doesn't quite have those 6-star runes yet, but this will still be relevant for you guys when those 6-star runes do come out. And I know that's going to be very soon since Europe and the rest of the global servers have caught up to North America extremely fast. You guys will have this in no time. Thank you guys again for watching. My name is TopherSmurf, telling you to keep on gaming.